Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's a rainy, drizzly morning here in the Ozarks. Probably going to be doing this off and on most of the day is what is expected. Next week, some cold weather coming through. There's your weather report for all of those of you that just are so irritated that I do it every morning. Not every morning, but most mornings. Speaking of the weather, I have no idea how this segues into this next thing. Venezuela, as in regards to what's going on down there. The United States now has about 20% of its naval forces in and around Venezuela. 20%. So that's pretty significant. I mean, you know, that's a good indicator that something's going on, that it's going to happen. 20% of our naval forces. Bitcoin is been crashing. Was up in the 128,000, 125,000 range. It's now down, the last time I checked, below 84,000. I really personally couldn't care, but I know that a lot of you do. The rumor mill is that it's the government trying to get it down to a whatever particular number, whether it's 80,000, 70,000, 60,000, because I see all these different numbers, so that then the United States can start buying in and own a bunch of it. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I even believe that that's true or not. But, I mean, that's the rumor, at least. Ukraine and Europe have rejected key parts to the new peace deal that the United States and Russia has worked out. It's interesting. I still think that it's interesting that the United States went directly to Russia to create this peace plan that highly favors Russia. Obviously, Ukraine says no. I mean, it would have been shocked if they would have accepted it, and so would Europe. I'd be shocked at both of those. So there's that. Okay. I believe it was the Labor Secretary. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it was the Labor Secretary was on one of the news shows bragging about that construction and construction workers are rising. That United States, there is this mad drive for new construction, which in part is correct. But what I'm concerned with is what construction is being done. They're not telling you that until you have to dig to find those answers, because it's not housing. New construction and housing is not just flat. It's really in the negative. Like they're not building new houses. Not anyway in the numbers that we're normally used to. People aren't buying houses. They can't afford them. It's not new business construction. New businesses are shutting down and closing branches and laying off people. It's not that. So what is it that's driving this? Well, I've said this before if you've watched me. It is the data centers, these AI data centers, where they're collecting all of your data. I know I've been harboring, harking on this thing for a while, but it's a big deal. If you took the new construction of these data centers out of the equation, new construction in this country would be like in the negative. It is the single driving force. It's kind of like how you've probably heard with the stock market that it's all the AI stocks. If you took all the AI stocks out of the stock market would be, probably as bad since 1929. Same thing with new construction. It is the AI data centers that's driving new construction. And so while you can sit there and brag that there's all these jobs that are being created and people are making money in construction due to that, it's like, let's brag about all this new construction of all of these, prison systems that are, re-education facilities. We're building concentration camps all over the country, and man, people are making hand over fist on building them. Yeah, but what are you building? And so, again, yes, it is. They're building thousands, and I'm not stretching the truth. They are building thousands of these. There are hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars being invested in these AI data centers right now. And their whole purpose is to collect all of your data, to monitor you, to create these algorithms and these psychological profiles on you so that they know how to control you, basically, so that they can say, well, oh, Joe here, this is his morning routine. He goes here, he does this, he purchases this. I think that he has the propensity to someday commit a crime. Oh, we better go lock him up, or he needs to go through some re-education training. That's what's going on. So when you hear this brag that, oh my goodness, new construction is going through the roof and we're building all of this stuff, that's not the point. It's what they're building. That's the thing. And the reason, there's multiple reasons why actual real construction, housing and businesses are going on. I already said people aren't buying houses. Businesses are actually reducing in size. There's also, a lot of construction workers are gone because of, self-deportation or deporting them. A lot of the, construction workers were illegals. Not all of them by any stretch of the means, but a good bulk of them. And there are places in this country where there's been numerous, construction companies say they can't find any workers. There's no one to hire because they've all left the country. And I know that that's something to brag about. And in some ways that is. If there was anything that has come good out of this administration, is that a lot of these people are leaving. The problem is that the majority of the people that are self-deporting are actually probably the ones that would be good to keep. Get them through the process to make it legal, or to get them back and then bring them back over. But it's so costly. A lot of you are probably going to hate me for this, but I've always had a very libertarian view on this when it comes to immigration. I think that we should not have any illegals whatsoever. But I also think that it should be very easy to come here with certain parameters, okay? We should come down extremely, extremely hard on trafficking of drugs and guns and people and things like that. Any kind of crime, gang violence, cartels, that kind of stuff coming in this country. In fact, I think even to the point of execution, I think that should be a standard. You traffic guns, people, drugs, anything to this country, we execute you, and in a very quick manner too. None of this dragging it out for 20, 30 years. You're just executed. Secondly, if you come into this country legally or illegally, you should get nothing, period, zilch, nada, of any kind of welfare, benefits, anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No education assistance, no health care, no food stamps, no nothing. Nothing. And if you come here, you have to have a job, you have to work, and you have to be working towards, goals to, integrate and become part of society and become a citizen. And if we had rules like that, I would be much more okay with an open border, fairly, more of an open border. Meaning, I'm not saying that people can just walk in, but having it an easier way for people to come here. Because there are a lot of good people that want to come here and want to work, and they work hard. And as much as you might hate me for saying this, and I hate saying this, but it's true. A lot of American workers are lazy, and a lot of Americans. I saw a statistic the other day, 60% of 18 to, I think, 30-year-olds, 18 to 40, 18 to 30, are obese. I mean, I'm overweight too. But the point is that, you get the good of other countries, and not just the high-tech good. So I think it would be, if we eliminated the benefits, everything, and I mean everything, and then basically executed anyone that came into this country to commit crimes, that would eliminate a lot of problems right there. Anyways, let's move on, because that wasn't what I was wanting to drag on about. This was the big one. The Justice Department and the ATF, which is really all the same, the ATF's just a branch of the Justice Department, has filed a court case in federal district court. And in that, if the case itself is not specifically about this, but if you know anything about legislation and law, it's not, there could be a bill that passes Congress, or goes through Congress, and it's called such and such, and the point is such and such. And that all seems maybe fine and okay, but it's always like this one little line that they'll slip in there. And then once it gets passed, then they're like, oh, no, this is law because see, this one sentence here says this. Oh, we got to do this. Well, this is one of those cases. So it's about guns, of course. But in it, there's this little clause, this little statement that the NFA, the thing that a lot of you want to see gone, that regulates short barrel rifle, short barrel, shotguns, machine guns, all these kinds of things. It redefines in there, the NFA, by saying any firearm that is easily concealable and made easily ready to use. Any firearm that is easily concealable and made easily ready to use. You know what? That fits these. Yes, that's what these are. They're easily concealable and easily ready to use. And so I've been warning about this one particular thing since Trump very first started to run for office, that he may be conservative in some ways, but he is not gun friendly in any way, shape, or form. He is not pro-gun. His first time around, he banned bump stocks, all of this cutting back and reducing different areas of government. The ATF has never been one of them, and he could. The ATF does not create law, but yet they do, and the president has the authority to go in and shut it down, where they redefine what the laws are. The president could shut that down because they're not doing it through Congress, and he hasn't, and he won't, and in fact, he's done just the opposite. And I'm telling you, folks, it may not completely happen with this president, but things are moving in the direction, quietly, maybe a little slow, but they want to come cracking down on firearms and all the violence and all the things that are happening and that they're talking about, violence in these cities, everything. They want to crack down, and so now they're trying to say that these should fall under the NFA. I don't know, what's your opinion? I guess you could make an argument that that's not what it said, but here's the thing: we all know how the ATF behaves. Okay, and so if this thing passed, if this thing was ruled upon and agreed upon, not that that's the bill. Again, that's just like one little. I think it was like 2 sentences in this whole case argument in federal court. It would very easily give the NFA the justification to say, oh, now we are interpreting this to say that all pistols now, your pistolas, fall under the NFA. Can make a lot of people felons overnight, a lot. And so I'm just warning you that these things, when I say that there's stuff going on in the background, people are focused on what Elon Musk says or what Trump calls a reporter, or all these other things. There are things actively happening constantly behind the scenes. I mean, I notice only a small portion of it and bring to you. Other people notice other things, but I guarantee you no one's figuring out everything. And this stuff's happening. It's a big show. It's a big clown show. They gotta feed everyone their bread and circuses to keep them all busy, while they are behind the scenes, gobbling up your wealth and your rights so that they can switch over to something new and better. Right? We're all gonna be billionaires. When the president says everybody's gonna be rich, I think he means that everyone's gonna have lots of money that's gonna be worthless. I mean, Weimar Germany, Venezuela a decade or so ago, Zimbabwe, there were lots and lots of billionaires and trillionaires even. I used to be worth about $500 trillion in Zimbabwe money, which was worth, I think at the time, I did the calculation, it was something like 67 cents in US dollars. But I was worth, I had like 500 trillion Zimbabwe dollars, or whatever they're called there. So yeah, we're all gonna be billionaires. It might, if you're lucky, buy you a loaf of bread, but I guess we're all gonna be billionaires, right? Oh, folks, you got to get serious and get ready. This stuff's happening all the time, and most people are just completely clueless to it. And it's going to hit everyone broadside. It's going to be bad when it all finally, becomes reality. And that's why you have to keep getting prepared. There's just a lot, and another thing that yesterday the president insinuated in an online post that Democrats should be, executed for sedition and treason. And regardless of how you feel about that, now there's several prominent Democrats coming out saying that they can't stand for this, that we got to rise up and fight back and all this. These are the types of things, if you look throughout history where countries go into a civil war, these are the types of things that are done leading up to that. The Charlie Kirk thing, all the other violence that's happening, and then the specific and prominent words and things that are being said. So, yeah, get ready, stock up, prep up, plan up, pray up, and get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.